Have you ever noticed how your day disappears without you realizing it? You wake up, check emails before even brushing your teeth, reply to Slack messages during breakfast, spend the day glued to endless Zoom calls, and by evening, you're exhausted, but somehow feel like nothing truly got done. The truth is, it's not just workload that burns us out, it's our digital habits. And some of these habits, the ones we think are helping us stay productive, are quietly fueling burnout at work. Today, I'm going to show you the digital habits that drain your energy, erode your focus, and keep you stuck in a cycle of exhaustion. Once you see them, you'll never approach your digital life at work the same way again. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was passionate about her job, full of energy, and determined to deliver her very best every single day. At first, she believed her strong dedication would be enough to help her grow in her career, but slowly her days began to feel like an endless blur. From the moment she woke up, she was checking emails before even getting out of bed. At work, her focus was constantly shattered by pings, notifications, and a flood of meeting requests. Every time she tried to sink into deep work, her concentration was broken by yet another email that couldn't wait. Every time she attempted to take a short break, she felt guilty, reaching for her phone to make sure she wasn't missing anything urgent. Sarah wasn't lazy, and she certainly wasn't uncommitted. She was trapped in a cycle that millions of workers around the world know all too well. What drained her wasn't simply the workload or the expectations of her role, but the small, invisible digital habits that quietly consumed her energy and attention. Habits like always being available, never saying no to a meeting, and letting notifications dictate her priorities. In the end, Sarah realized that her burnout wasn't created by one big event. It was built piece by piece by the daily digital choices she didn't even notice she was making. When Sarah's story unfolds, it becomes clear that what truly drained her wasn't the projects themselves, but the way she was trapped by digital habits she never stopped to question. And she is not alone. Millions of professionals carry the same weight, believing that exhaustion is proof of commitment, when in reality it is often the result of habits that silently sabotage focus and well-being. The first harmful habit is always-on responsiveness. Sarah prided herself on replying instantly to every email and message. It made her feel competent, even indispensable. But what she didn't realize was that every time she switched tasks to check her inbox, her brain lost focus and had to start over. Researchers call it context switching, and it drains mental energy more than we imagine. Over time, Sarah wasn't managing her priorities. She was living by everyone else's priorities. Instead of moving her most important work forward, she spent her days putting out digital fires. The second habit is meeting overload. Sarah said yes to every invitation. Some meetings were useful, but many were not. Hours spent on Zoom or Teams left her with little energy for creative or strategic work. Video calls demand intense focus, reading faces, interpreting tones, staying on in front of a screen, and that intensity creates fatigue that lingers long after the call ends. By mid-afternoon, Sarah felt depleted, not because she had accomplished too much, but because she had been pulled into too many rooms that didn't need her. The third habit is notification dependency. Sarah's phone buzzed, her laptop pinged, her watch vibrated. Each interruption seemed minor, just a glance, just a few seconds. But those seconds add up. Psychologists say it can take more than 20 minutes to fully regain deep focus after an interruption. Multiply that by dozens of pings a day, and it is no wonder Sarah ended most days exhausted yet unsatisfied, feeling as if she had been busy all day without truly achieving anything meaningful. The fourth habit is the absence of boundaries. Work followed Sarah everywhere, into her evenings, into her weekends, even into her bedroom at night. She would check Slack before sleep, scroll through emails during dinner, and wake up already in catch-up mode. Her brain never had the chance to fully switch off, and without recovery, exhaustion became her default state. Boundaries are not luxuries, they are requirements for sustainability. But because Sarah wanted to prove her commitment, she convinced herself that availability was the same as dedication. In truth, it was draining her capacity to show up as her best self. What makes these habits so dangerous is not that they explode suddenly, but that they erode slowly. Sarah didn't burn out overnight. She burned out through the small digital choices she repeated every day, choices that seemed harmless at the time, but together built a life of constant stress. And because these habits are invisible, many workers assume that burnout is simply part of the job, when in fact it is a symptom of the way they work. The irony is that most of these habits begin with good intentions. Responsiveness is meant to show reliability. Accepting meetings is meant to demonstrate collaboration. Checking notifications is meant to stay informed. Extending work hours is meant to prove dedication. But good intentions do not cancel out negative consequences. Sarah thought she was building trust with her team. Instead, she was dismantling her focus and her health. These are the digital habits that hurt. Constant responsiveness, meeting overload, notification dependency, and the absence of boundaries. They are not dramatic, they don't make headlines, but they quietly shape the culture of exhaustion in workplaces everywhere. And until we recognize them for what they are, habits, not inevitabilities, we cannot break free. The hopeful truth is this: just as digital habits can drain us, they can also save us. Burnout is not inevitable. It is shaped by choices we make every day, and small adjustments can bring back balance, clarity, and energy. The first healing habit is time blocking for deep work. Turning off notifications and dedicating uninterrupted hours to one task allows the brain to reach focus and flow. What once took Sarah half a day of distracted effort could now be done in half the time. The second is reclaiming control over meetings. Instead of saying yes to every invite, she began asking, "Is this necessary?" Many discussions were replaced with quick updates, freeing hours of mental space. The third healing habit is setting digital boundaries. No email before breakfast, no Slack after a set evening hour. These simple rules created space for recovery, rest, and real-life connection. Finally, Sarah learned the value of intentional breaks. Instead of scrolling her phone, she took short walks, stretched, or breathed deeply. These pauses weren't wasted time, they were investments in focus and creativity. Slowly, the same tools that once consumed her became tools she controlled. And in that shift, Sarah discovered that work didn't have to mean burnout. It could mean balance, growth, and even joy. At the end of the day, burnout is not only about how much work you have, but about how you choose to work. The habits you repeat with your phone, your email, and your calendar shape the way your mind and body feel every single day. The question is, are those habits fueling your exhaustion or fueling your growth? Tonight, pause and ask yourself, do I need to respond right now or can it wait? Do I need to be in this meeting or can I create space for deep work? Do I need to check one more notification or give myself the gift of rest? Change begins with small shifts. Replace one draining habit with one healing habit, and you'll see how quickly your energy, your focus, and your joy return. Share this message with someone who needs it because no one deserves to mistake burnout for success.